Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be doing a market update now that we are entering October, the end of 2025, and where we are in the cycle. And now we're actually hearing Jim Cramer wants to hit the pause button on soaring crypto stocks. In today's video, we're going to be exploring what is going on in the market, where we are in the cycle, where we should be positioning our portfolios. And remember, this is just my analysis and opinions. I could be wrong. Do your own research. I'm not telling you what to do in your portfolio. That is up to you. I'm just giving you guys my opinion and analysis on where we are now at the end of 2025 in the cycle. And if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you know where I stand and what I have been kind of laying out to bring us to this point in the cycle. And in today's video, we're going to lay it all out and understand what Jim Cramer is talking about here. Don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. We also upload every single day of the year, so hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. That way you never miss a new video. We talk about individual cryptos and stocks, and we do deep dives, and sometimes we talk about the macro environment like what we're going to be doing today. So join the channel by clicking subscribe, and let's understand what Jim Cramer is saying here. So Jim Cramer, the host of Mad Money, called for a pause in what he called a rally of speculation, gold, crypto, and profitless companies in a post on X. Now, his post came a day when many crypto stocks are in bearish zones in pre-market trading. Now, let's understand exactly what he said in his actual tweet on X. And it's right here. Let's pull it up. While we're pulling it up, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. He said, "I'd like to see a pause in the endless rally of speculation, gold, crypto, and profitless companies." Now, what exactly is he talking about here? Well, many of these Bitcoin treasury companies, they are not cash flowing businesses, right? We've talked about this many times. Marathon Digital, they're a Bitcoin mining company, so they are cash flowing. MicroStrategy does have a software business, but it's very, very minimal compared to what their Bitcoin thesis is and what the company actually does. And if you look at some of these other companies, Metaplanet, right? They have a hotel in, I think, Japan, which it's not even like a luxury hotel like the Waldorf Astoria. It looks like more like a hostel type place. I'm not saying anything bad about it. It's just, is that bringing in billions of dollars in revenue? No. And so these companies are buying Bitcoin literally at all-time record highs. If you just look at Metaplanet, Metaplanet's average buy price is $105,000. And this is basically where the top of the market is. Now, we may go a little bit higher than that, but what do you think is going to happen in a bear market? There's a lot of people who don't think that we're going to be in a bear market, but as we're going to be discussing in today's video, that is highly, highly unlikely. And we also need to keep in mind, when we look at the Bitcoin halving chart, this is days since the Bitcoin halving, you can see that historically, we hit top of the market in the previous cycle and the cycle before that, approximately 500 to 550 days after the Bitcoin halving, which is approximately 18 months. This is where we are at. And by the time you're watching this video, we're even past this. And so even if we're not at the top and we're going to go higher, how much higher are we going to go? You can see in the last cycle, the second top area that happened in 2021 was just slightly above where we topped in 2020. And this, if you look at the cycle now, the top where we are now is slightly above where we were last year. And so this is following the trend and the rhythm of where the market has shown us what it does in previous cycles. And so even if you think that it's not the top, we're near the top. And so what does that mean the next trend is going to be? We've been in an uptrend for well over a year. It may not feel like it. People don't think that it's like that, but it is. You could look at some of these stocks, right? This was meme coins. Well, actually, we did have meme coin season. It was the Haktua coin and all those celebrity coins on Solana. But beyond that, all the money was getting made in stocks, right? Through the Bitcoin mining companies, through the Bitcoin mining companies pivoting to AI. Iris Energy is now at all-time record highs. Cypher Mining, all-time record highs. Now, we're going to come back to these companies in a few minutes because I want to talk a little bit deeper about these AI and Bitcoin mining stocks. But even Coinbase barely went above its IPO price. If you look, it IPO'd or it launched at about $350 back in 2021. And we barely went above that. We went to $410, $420, and it's been selling off since. Now, could we go higher? Sure, but are we going to? I don't know. Coinbase hasn't really changed their strategy besides saying they're going to become an all-in app and basically sell just more stuff besides crypto. But is that really going to bring them a lot more money, right? They're not really getting into infrastructure plays. They're not getting into investments of other companies. So they're just becoming like a regular financial institution. Didn't do that well, right? And what have we seen with these Bitcoin treasury companies? They've round tripped. I mean, look at Metaplanet. From its high in June, we're down 70% so far. Nakamoto, since May and June, yeah, basically June, we're down 95%. Even just from August until September, it's down 90%. And this is when the price of Bitcoin is still about $110,000, $115,000. What happens when the Bitcoin price drops by 30, 40, 50%? What do you think is going to happen to this stock, along with all these other companies, right? And so we really have to understand we are at the end stages of the cycle. In a bull market, you don't have to convince anybody that we're in a bull market. And there's going to be people, go look down below in the comments. There's going to be people, but Cryptoviser, I don't think that we're in the euphoria phase yet. I think we have 6 more months. I think that there's an extended cycle. Oh no, we're not at the top of the market. It's like, okay, then don't sell anything. Don't take any profits and round trip your investment, because the same thing happened in 2021 into 2022. I told my viewers I said in August of 2021, by that time next year, people who are multimillionaires would have zero in their bank or in their crypto accounts. And sure enough, many millionaires became non-millionaires because of the bear market downtrend. And so that's where we're going. We're going into a downtrending market, and there is a lot of bullishness ahead. But first, we got to get through the bearish phase of the cycle. And we're going to do that. And so I think that many viewers of my channel have been well prepared for this. Like I said, go look at my videos on my channel. I've been calling the top since July. And effectively, I was correct. I mean, if you look at Nakamoto, June was the top. If you look at Semler Scientific, July was the top. If you look at I think MicroStrategy, July was the top. If you look at the Ethereum treasury companies, July was the top. If you look at Circle, right after they went IPO, June and July was the top. And there's more downside risk to come. And so everybody's focused on, oh, well, it's going to be altcoins, it's going to be the gaming coins, the AI coins, this coin, this coin. No, the money was not made in crypto this cycle. The money was made in the stocks that were somewhat connected to crypto this cycle. And some of these we've done very well in, right? Again, the Bitcoin mining companies we've been talking about for years on this channel. And these Bitcoin mining companies, a lot of them, they've pivoted to AI and high-power computer, HPC. Iris Energy did this. Cypher Mining did this. TeraWulf did this. TeraWulf, 15% of this company is now owned by Google. Google did like an 80-year lease agreement for TeraWulf's infrastructure. And by the way, in the bear market, I told you guys on this channel, look at TeraWulf's board of directors, because in the bear market, none of these companies were doing that well. But that's when we were positioning for the bull market. And I told my viewers, they reorganized the company. They got people from the defense industry, from the military industry into their board of directors. That told me that they're viewing this kind of infrastructure for Bitcoin mining and now AI and HPC as kind of like national security type thing. And so obviously that's going to make pretty good money, right? And they're going to continue to get more investments and more funding. And that's a bullish signal. And sure enough, from the lows of $2.70, look at this, 77 cents after the FTX collapse, and it was under $1 for quite a while. Then it was in the $2 range. I think my DCA on this is about $2. And now we're at $11. And Google is funding and buying into this company. This is a perfect example. Iris Energy, all-time record highs, $11 billion. They're no longer just a Bitcoin mining company. And that's why they're doing well, because they got into AI. Because everybody kind of knows, except for the major bulls that don't think that we're going to have a bear market, or they're bots and not actual humans, that the cycle is going to come to an end at some point. And we're seeing diminishing returns every single cycle. The first cycle to the second was lower. Second cycle from the first was lower. The third from the second was lower, and now we're in the fourth. So the third is going to be lower in terms of percentage gains in crypto. And a lot of people believe that this is because Wall Street is now heavily involved in crypto, from the Bitcoin mining companies to the strategic Bitcoin reserve companies to the infrastructure play and kind of having a national reserve and the ETFs. So Wall Street is in control, and they are not going to let crypto bros and crypto maxis make hundreds or thousands of percent returns if they can't get their hands on any of those returns. And so what have they done? They've expanded their products on Wall Street. And what has done better this cycle than crypto directly? Those stocks. And so they are suppressing the price. One way or another, they are going to not allow these kind of price moves. I actually don't think that next cycle in crypto is going to be. Most of these legacy coins are going to go to zero, and maybe not literal zero, but in terms of where they are now to where they will be in 5 years, I think that they're pretty much going to be around the same type of valuation. I don't see how Wall Street is going to, because none of these crypto projects, for the most part, right? We definitely have Chainlink does a lot, Ethereum does a lot, Polygon does a lot. Clearly, Solana has a lot of investment. I don't know if it does a lot, but you guys kind of get it. Binance has a big backing. But the rest of the coins that were just based on speculation and haven't built anything, haven't done anything, haven't actually created anything, have no users, these are going to zero. Because now there's no difference between crypto and stocks. It's the same exact thing. And if a stock isn't making money and isn't delivering on something, like for instance, if Apple, right, one of the big companies, everybody loves Apple. If they're like, we're going to release a new phone next year, and then they don't, and they say we're going to release it the year after, and they don't, and they say we're going to release one more year. After year two, everybody's selling their coin. Like if they produce nothing in 3 years, people are going to be selling that stock, and it's going to sell off, and the CEO is going to get fired, right? But in crypto, that's just part of the grift. I mean, it literally is part of the grift. And that brings us to MicroStrategy and these Bitcoin treasury companies, because they're telling us there's going to be no bear market. They're telling us, well, it's accretive dilution. They're telling us, oh, this is great. We're buying all this Bitcoin. And meanwhile, a lot of these newer Bitcoin treasury companies, besides MicroStrategy, they've all done terrible, and they all have very high buy prices, over $100,000. And so now they have to wait 4 years, and you effectively have to wait 4 years to recoup any of your money from these investments. I mean, again, Metaplanet down 70% just in 3 or 4 months, and going much lower when the price of Bitcoin drops, which it will. Because I know that a lot of people are like, well, Jim Cramer, he's always wrong. It always goes the opposite. Yeah, in the short term. But he understands how these markets operate. He understands that there's a lot of speculation. And a lot of the speculation is not coming from big money, because the big money have been selling their coins. The big money have been selling their stocks. How do we know this? Well, many of these stocks and cryptos are down. Many of them haven't performed well. And so he may be wrong in the short term, but in the medium term, he's going to be correct. And a lot of people are not taking into account what else is going on. We've seen Binance launched Aster, which is a competitor to Hyperliquidation. And then we saw Arthur Hayes just sell his hype coin, Hyperliquid coin. Even though he believes it's going to go to 126x, he's like, yeah, we can't compete when Aster's in play now, because now they're taking, this is not exactly what he said, I'm kind of paraphrasing and assuming, but effectively now Aster is taking the liquidity from Hyperliquid and the excitement, because Hyperliquid has already gotten into the top 20 and maintained a very high market cap. And now Aster is going to pull that liquidity from there. So is it worth holding on to when you know that you can't compete with the likes of Binance's products? And the answer is no. That's why he sold. But you're holding and you're saying, no, Hyperliquid's the best. Guys, it's in the name. Hyperliquidation. Like quite literally. And then we have companies like Circle. Circle has maintained a pretty high price after their IPO. Their IPO price was $30, right? And it went up to $300, which is a 10x. And then it came down to about 130 where we're at right now. But the thing is, in December, all of the insiders who were participating in the IPO, they get their shares unlocked. And when they get their shares unlocked, if they're up to 130, 120, they bought at $30 and we're at $120, it's a 400% increase in 6 or 7 months. You don't think they're going to take profits? Of course they are. They are. They're going to take their profits. And so this stock straight down as well. And while Circle does make money, as interest rates get lowered, Circle makes less money because Circle is just a dollar, like they just have dollars, right? And so they put dollars into treasuries and they get percentage, which is the interest rate. So if interest rates go down, which they are, and they're probably going to go down even more into 2026, Circle is going to be making less and less money. What do you think is going to happen to the stock? What do you think the insiders are going to do? They're just going to hold on and say, nah, so bullish on this stable coin. No, the hype phase is over, quite literally, because Arthur Hayes sold his hype. So we've been correct on this channel. We've been massively correct on this channel. Go look at my videos. Go to youtube.com/the Cryptoviser or click my logo down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That way you never miss a new video. And also give this video a free thumbs up. But if you look at my videos from June, July, August, I've been calling the top. And people are like, Cryptoviser, you keep calling the top. You're gonna keep losing. You're gonna miss out. I'm like, miss out on what? Everything is coming down. And in my view, what we're seeing here, pricing in AI and HPC, these are going to continue probably to go higher. All of these Bitcoin mining companies that have pivoted. Bitfarms is a perfect example. Highly, highly undervalued, right? It's about $1 billion market cap. Meanwhile, Iris Energy is $11 billion. Now, I asked Grok to give me the list of all the Bitcoin mining companies. I don't know how accurate this is because Grok quite often gives incorrect information. But generally speaking, you can see that in the energy capacity, you can see Bitfarms down here has 1,400 megawatts in the pipeline and 410 megawatts deployed. And if you look at Iris Energy basically has less if you combine all the energy capacity. But meanwhile, Iris Energy is $11 billion. Bitfarms is $1 billion in market cap. So even if we just get to par, Bitfarms has almost a 10x to go just to get on par with Iris Energy. Now, is it going to do that? I don't know. Cypher Mining, same kind of situation. Cypher Mining has 2,500 megawatts in the pipeline and 300 megawatts deployed. That's less deployed than Bitfarms has. That's less deployed than BitDeer has, right? And so there's a lot of, you can pause the video right here if you want to see these actual, this list. And I would definitely cross-reference it with their SEC filings to make sure. But the bottom line is that, CoreWeave is trying to buy Core Scientific, right? AI, HPC play. Google just got involved with TeraWulf, AI, HPC play. And Bitfarms just had a presentation in front of Wall Street where they basically said they're not expanding their Bitcoin mining fleet. They're not buying any more Bitcoin mining operations. They're just using it as cash flow to fund the rest of their expansion in business. And I would imagine many of these other companies that have also pivoted to AI are doing the same thing. And so that should tell you the narrative around Bitcoin is waning. And these companies that their whole business model right now, the Bitcoin treasury companies, the Ethereum treasury companies are crypto. That's their whole narrative. They don't make any money elsewhere except with financial gibberish. Well, our accretive dilution, Bitcoin per share has increased by $30 billion. It's like, no, it hasn't, because you haven't sold anything. So you haven't realized that gain. And if the Bitcoin price goes down, all those metrics dissipate and go in the negative as well. And so that, that says that Jim Cramer, I think he's correct here. I think that he sees that there is this big rally of speculation, profitless companies that don't actually do anything, end of the cycle from a Bitcoin halving perspective days since. We've already seen a lot of this getting priced in before the price of Bitcoin is even fallen. And so we have a lot further to go down. And I think that most of these altcoins, including the ones that we talk about on this channel that I thought would do well, They may pump, but then they're going to dump because we're at the end of the cycle. Liquidity is being drained, bottom line. And so I don't know. I don't think that there's the possibility. I mean, Aave is a perfect example here because for me, Aave this year has priced in and out a lot of what the market has done, right? We've seen a lot of moves to the upside and a lot of moves to the downside in the last year in Aave. You can see that, right? We call it the Trump pump, right? Right after the election, the markets went crazy. Then we had a drawdown. Then we heard that World Liberty Finance invested in Aave, and then we had a pump at the beginning of the year. Then we started to see some resistance, right? Big resistance, not like Aave. People could have made a lot of money on Aave this year. You can see just even here from June, we were at $308, and then later in June, we were at $220. So basically a $100 decline. Then from June until July, it went back up $100. Then it came back down about $50 to $100. Then it went back up, and now we're back down. So it's been moving up and down by $100, which is like 30% of the valuation of the coin itself. And we know that the narrative had been shifting towards these decentralized finance ecosystems like Aave, like Ondo Finance, and the similar ones like that. But where is it going to go from here? Like it's going down, and you can see that the intensity of the downtrend has been going on for quite a while now. And if you've been following my videos, again, go to my videos in August. A lot of these videos didn't perform well. People were in the comment, Cryptoviser, you're an idiot. We're not going down. This is not the end of the bull market. And I was like, yeah, I think it is. I think it is. And the downtrend, once it starts at the end of the cycle, it just accelerates because you get the smart money and the big money selling. Then you have the traders moving the volatility, right? Bidding it back up. And then they sell, which pushes it back down. Then other traders come in, they bid it back up, and then others trade it back down. And all while that's going on, you have retail investors are like, oh, wow, it came down $100. Let me buy it. And they're bidding it up too, but they're not taking profits. So the traders that take profits and push the price back down, then these people are underwater. So they buy the dip, the price goes back up, and then the traders short it and it goes back down. And then before you know it, the traders are not trading it anymore. They're just shorting it. And then the only direction that they have is down because retail no longer has any money. And that's even if retail is in these kind of cryptos, which for the most part, they're not because they're in the stocks because they got burned in the last cycle by FTX, Voyager, Celsius, 3 Hours Capital, BlockFi, Genesis, Trading, Gemini, Earn, all these different products that literally lost their money. Now, some of them got their money back, but it left a mark and people were not happy and they don't trust it. And so that's where we're at in the cycle. Jim Cramer may be correct at this point. And I think that over the next 6 to 9 months, the trend is going to be down across the board. And the ones that are already down, there's a lot of people who are like, but Cryptoviser, you got to buy it, got to buy this dip, buy this dip, buy this dip. I'm seeing all the billionaires popping up on social media saying, well, this is the part of the cycle where the dips are there to buy. You always buy the dips. And I'm like, we're down 95% on the 6 month. We're down 91% on the 1 month. The trend is down. I'm not buying any dips until I see a change in the macro environment. That doesn't mean rate cuts because rate cuts is not money printing. I want to see money printing. I want to see a new Federal Reserve chairman. I want to see a significant reduction in the rates. I need to see a drop in the price of homes because nothing is affordable right now. Nothing. And people think, a lot of realtors, you guys have to connect the dots here, right? Not just look at crypto, not just look at stocks, but look at the whole picture. A lot of realtors and people selling their homes, they think, oh yeah, rate cuts I'm going to raise the price of my home. And I'm already seeing like a week after Jerome Powell lowered rates, I already saw homes closing that have been in the market for a year. And I'm like, the chairman of the Federal Reserve lowered rates by 0.25%, which tells me he's going to lower more. It's just a matter of time. And so you buying right now is like the price, people can't afford the homes. Just because rates are coming down, even 0.5%, it's not changing the overall picture of the market. The market is still overpriced. And a lot of people don't want to, a lot of these boomer homes that have not been touched since 1970. And you walk in and it's like, wow, I'm walking into a 1970s house, right? The old cabinets, the old refrigerators, everything is just old. And they're selling it at $1.2 million, right? And they're like, well, the comps in the area. I'm like, the comps in the area? Those are brand new builds. This home hasn't been touched in 70 years, not even new paint on the wall. It still has, carpeted wallpaper, right? But they still think it's worth 1.2 million. Until that collapses, I don't think that the 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 actual overall economy is going to recover. It is going to recover. It's just a matter of when. And I think that it's going to be coming after the next Federal Reserve chairman is chosen, and that comes in the middle of 2026. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm off here? Do you think that we are going much, much higher? Do you think Jim Cramer's wrong? Or are you buying the dip? Let me know down below. Are you buying the dip or selling the dip? And by the way, while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video. This was a market update. If you like these kind of shorter videos with kind of a little bit more to the point, let me know down below in the comments and we'll do more of that. Otherwise, crypto on.